Welcome back to England Now 7, and today we take you inside the chaos unfolding 1 year after Sir Keir Starmer won his landslide election victory. The man who promised economic recovery, serious leadership, and a new era for Britain is now facing mounting criticism. Tears in the Treasury rebellion in Parliament and disappointment across the country. Let us begin with the state of economic growth after the pandemic lockdowns ended and the economy reopened. Expectations were high, but instead of steady progress, growth has been weak, unstable, and full of false starts. During the 2024 election campaign, the Conservatives pointed to a brief boom in the first half of the year, but that quickly vanished, and by April this year, the economy shrank again. The Telegraph. Looking at GDP compared to 1 year ago, we see an even grimmer picture. The UK economy is not even 1% bigger than it was last summer. That means there has been almost no real recovery, no solid momentum, and no sign that Labour's policies are working. The Telegraph. Now we move to productivity, which tells us how much value the average worker creates per hour. It is one of the most important indicators for long-term prosperity, but over the past 2 years, productivity has collapsed. In 2024, it fell by 0.8%, twice the decline seen in 2023. And the worst drop since the global financial crisis? The Telegraph. So here is the big question. How can wages go up if productivity is going down? How can we control inflation if the economy is becoming less efficient? And how can we talk about growth when the foundation is crumbling? Now let us look at inflation, the issue that pushed millions to vote for change in 2024. Since the start of the pandemic, living costs have risen by more than 25%. Food prices have jumped by over 30%. Electricity bills are up by 57%, and gas bills have exploded by 73%. The Telegraph. In June last year, inflation briefly dropped to the Bank of England's target of 2% just before the election, but it did not last. Prices never returned to normal, and now inflation is rising again, hitting 3.4% this year, with the bank expecting further increases soon. The Telegraph. Ask yourself, does 2% inflation feel like relief when your bills are still sky high, when your groceries keep getting more expensive, and when rent, fuel, and transport eat more of your income every month? Now we turn to unemployment and the job market. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey has warned that signs of weakness are growing. Unemployment is now 4.5% and forecast to reach 5% soon. That would bring us back to the levels last seen during the COVID lockdowns. The Telegraph. Meanwhile, Chancellor Rachel Reeves introduced a £25 billion tax hike on employers through national insurance contributions, the largest single tax rise in her October budget. Businesses say it is hurting workers through reduced hiring and smaller pay increases. The Telegraph. Vacancies across the UK have plunged after peaking at 1.3 million job openings. The number has now dropped by more than 40%. The latest data shows only 736,000 vacancies from March to May. The Telegraph. Let us talk about business confidence. Last year, many company leaders supported Labour, hoping for competence and stability. The confidence index by the Institute of Directors even soared to levels not seen since the first COVID vaccine rollouts, but just months later, confidence collapsed, reaching lows equal to the early pandemic and the Liz Truss mini-budget crisis. The Telegraph. Why did it collapse? Labour broke a key election promise not to raise taxes on businesses. Chancellor Reeves claimed the pledge only covered employee taxes, not the much larger share paid by employers. Companies felt betrayed and began cutting back on hiring, investment, and expansion. The Telegraph. Low confidence leads to less business activity, less innovation, and less economic growth, all of which Labour promised to restore. And finally, we turn to national debt. The huge tax rises introduced over the past year were meant to fix the budget deficit, but even with record tax revenue, it was not enough. Reeves changed fiscal rules to allow more borrowing, and the Office for Budget Responsibility now estimates public debt will reach £3.4 trillion by the end of the decade, up from the £3.1 trillion forecast under the Conservatives. The Telegraph's slower growth, rising interest on debt, broken reform promises, and higher military spending mean another black hole in the government's finances. More tax increases are likely and may come through frozen thresholds or direct rate hikes, all adding to the highest tax burden Britain has ever seen. The Telegraph. So here is the truth. After 1 year of Labour rule, the economy is struggling. Living standards are falling. Businesses are nervous and debt is soaring. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe the government has a real plan, or is the UK heading deeper into crisis? Was Labour's victory a new beginning or just a new set of problems? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like this video if you value facts, not slogans. Subscribe to England Now 7 and hit the bell so you never miss a deep